Merry Christmas, followers of the Battaglia theory. We are finally here. We're finally bringing in the new year. It is your boy, Mac Daddy Battaglia, coming live a day before Christmas Eve, a day before Christmas, a day before we can spend all sorts of fun times with our family and our loved ones. And speaking of family and loved ones, there is, as you can see, I got this Christmas tree behind me, and I look like I'm in a place that most of you will not recognize. And that is because I'm hanging out with a very important person. This was a surprise that I just threw together at the last minute. Because of the snow, the power went out at our house. So we ended up coming to stay at my brother's house. And I was like, well, I'm at your house, no power, no nothing like that. So if I'm gonna be at your house where you do have power, I might as well just do my podcast here. I was like, well, if I'm doing my podcast here, I might as well do it with you. So without further ado, I would love to introduce my man, young Dominic Battaglia, my brother. He's gonna be joining me tonight on the Battaglia Theory. So there he is, my man.
Yes, sir.
Dom.
Yes, sir. What's going on, everybody?
Okay, guys. Oh, mom said yay. And that is not it for you guys. Since this is a Christmas podcast, this is something that doesn't really happen except once a year at the end of the year. So what we're going to do is, it's not just Dom we got here tonight. We also have two more people that are going to be joining us, and we're going to be doing a 4-person podcast for you guys to celebrate this wonderful year. I figured we just make it crazy, make it fun, and just have a whole bunch of people on here. And we could just talk about everything that's been going on. And today, for the Battaglia Theory, I would like to introduce my friend Arnold or William Bean. I don't know, whichever one he likes to be called. I just call him Bean. I don't know him as nothing else. What's up, Bean? How are you, my man? Welcome to the Battaglia Theory, dude.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. I don't know. I've got 3 names, and I go by all 3 of them.
Hey, as long as it's not late for dinner, that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, exactly. I like to eat. That's for sure.
Exactly. Well, thank you for joining us, man, on this wonderful Christmas Eve.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome, dude. It's my pleasure. And not many people know you. Dom, your screen's going black there, good sir. Anyways,
power allergies.
We dealing with some technical difficulties. I can't hear you in there, so I'm gonna have to come in here. But
all right, well, I guess we're gonna be in the same room anyways, but hopefully that doesn't mess with the sound or anything like that.
Yeah, somebody let us know if it does.
I can
we'll
get this fixed real quick, but
yeah, for sure. Sorry, guys. Like I said, we just threw this together at the last possible minute. We're all just coming together. But Bean, most of these people either know you or don't know you. So for those who don't, just go into a little bit about what makes Bean Bean. You know, what does he do? What are his dreams, his accomplishments? You know.
Well, on dreams, you know, I don't really do a lot of dream stuff. You know, I like to think that I'm gonna have a good future, healthy, happy life. You know, a home. You know, all the things that I guess everyone would like to have. Got a little late start in life. You know, I'm in recovery, and I work at the treatment center I got clean at. You know, very good job, very good career. They treat me good there. Life is good today. You know, I have a good family, church family, home family, which is something somewhat new. You know, it's not always been like that, but today life is great, and I just want to continue on life the way that I'm going and help people. You know, my goal and my calling for life is to help people accomplish sobriety. That's what I've been used for by God, and so that's what I try to, you know, do to the best of my ability.
Well, man, that's one of those tasks that not many people are feel called or willing to do. Um, and it's usually the people that have been on the bad side of that, and the people that know and understand that that is what it's not. I don't know. It's more than just wanting to do something all the time. Like there's a reason it's called addiction,
Yeah.
and for those people it makes I don't know, makes just cycles in your brain, and the people who are willing to take a foot out, or take a step out it into the next step with people who are struggling with just living regular life without, or with being addicted to something without being addicted to something, whatever it is, because there's many things that we can be addicted by. And I just want to thank you, man, because for real, you've changed. I've seen a lot of lives changed by you, man.
Some firsthand experiences, you know what I'm saying? Like I know you know what I'm talking about, but it's incredible to see somebody do that type of work. I know not everybody's cut out for it. Not everyone's going to put in that work because it's not always easy. It's not always, you don't always get gratitude out of it from everybody. You don't even always get what your intended goal is out of it. But just the fact that you're out there every day, just putting out what you can to try and help people, it really is inspiring. It's a good example to set for a lot of people.
Yeah. And what's crazy is like I have this daily devotional. I do these devotionals, like we have life recovery groups, which is not just for drugs and alcohol. It's for any life controlling issue. I mean, it can be gambling, it can be overeating, it can be undereating, it can be pornography, it can be drugs or alcohol. We have these groups and they're scattered all over Middle Tennessee area. We have one at each one of our campuses, Smithville and Sparta. But the
That
reading
is Christ Point Church. Again,
Christ Point
another
Church,
plug this week for Christ Point Church. Y'all
yeah,
folks knew come back at you. We
and,
got one location in Sparta, Tennessee at 13 Liberty Square, I believe. And then 614 Murphy Street, I think, is the Smithville one. It's behind the Regions, behind the bumpers and the shell and all that fun stuff out in Smithville, Tennessee. You know where it was. Sorry to interrupt you. Just had to throw that free plug in anyways. But
the 614 on Christmas night at 6 p.m. We're going to open the doors for a meeting for anybody that wants to come out. Because I know after Christmas, with family or without family, that's when people like us struggle sometimes, and we're gonna have the doors open. If somebody shows up, great. If they don't, then great too. Be on. I'll continue on the Christmas, whatever that looks like for
he's
me.
good. He's good. Bring him in here. You're good, Bean. You're good, Bean. We just got a young Battaglia
Another
theory
one.
listener.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
I'm
another one.
outnumbered
It's fine.
bad. I'm getting out of
Yeah,
the way.
I
I'm
know.
outnumbered.
Hey, hold on, buddy. But no, like you were saying, man. Check that out, guys. It is. I haven't been to one, but he's being like Dominic was saying that he was fixing people's lives. He's been fixing people's lives for a long time, and he's I don't know, man. Bean's just one in a million, dude. And he does the one in Smithville and in Sparta, I believe. You do both of them
Yes.
at both locations. And he's a great person to have in your corner, man. He's just great about it, really. Like I said, I can't rave enough about Bean, and everybody who knows him will too. Um, so Bradford is the place you work for, and about how long have you been with them?
It will be 5 years at either the end of February or early March. I don't know if it was end of February but early March, but it's somewhere in that vicinity.
Okay. Sorry, guys. The son wanted to. I'm usually at a different place, but due to weather and everything else, we're hanging out with everybody today. But it kind of threw me off. But anyway, so you've been with Bradford about 5 years, and they've got a place out in Alabama, I know. And where else? What else do they do? Explain what kind of
Well,
treatment they offer. Kind of things like
which
that.
we're substance abuse, it's either insurance or private pay. Some people don't like that, and sometimes I'm not the biggest fan of it, but you get what you pay for, like if you go to something that's, I'm not saying if you got the opportunity to go anywhere, go get what you can out of it, and come back and join us in these meetings. Just talking about the one in Sparta, it's at the 240 building at 7 o'clock on Thursdays, life recovery meeting. Everybody welcome, because if you say you don't have any kind of life controlling issue, then you got a lying issue. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's got something. I 100% believe that. And we're open to anybody eat, like I said, overeating, undereating. But I've been treated so well for my company. We have treatment facilities now scattered all over the Southeast. We got one in Mississippi right down near the coast. We got North Carolina. We have Knoxville. We have stuff scattered all over Tennessee. As far as like you stay there for 3 month program, they call it like a PHP IOP program, and you stay on site, which is a phenomenon. I believe in the longer you can get, the better chances you have at overcoming anything.
I can personally say that they do have some great facilities. Like they really do. They do take care of you there. It's like it's everything you'd want out of a situation like that. It isn't always the best situation, especially being that person in it.
Your mic went off.
You're muted there.
They're very caring towards the person that's in there. Like you don't feel judged, you don't feel any of that, none of that stuff. So it really is it's a really good place. So it's a good thing to get into.
Yeah, I believe I'm alumni, times two, and it's a God thing. Once I was able to find God and work through the steps, 12-step program, I'm a firm believer it's a way of life. 12 steps is the best thing that's ever happened to me, working those steps and just get into the core, and working. And, I don't know. I tell everybody I go to meetings still. I probably still go to 5 a week. I hold a couple of meetings. There in Sparta on Thursday nights, we had a good meeting. We had 9 people last night, actually. And it's not just for Cross Point. It's for anybody in the community that struggles with any kind of addictions, or life controlling issues. You might not even want to call it addiction, and there's several of them. We live in a world that we want everything now or already, already had quick, easy, change the way I feel in 30 seconds or less. And there's so much stuff that's offered in the world today that will do that. And I mean, it's, for me, I struggle with the money thing still to this day. It's not real bad, but if I let it, I can obsess about it and let it take my joy and my pride and my walk and my everything. And, that's what I attempt not to do. I attempt to be satisfied and contempt anyway, maybe not always satisfied, but contempt, so I don't know. But yeah, we was talking about my place I work. I've been there for over 4 years and they treat me phenomenal. It's it's a career. I didn't know I'd ever say that. I have a career and it's and I do get the opportunity, to talk to people and help people that's willing and not even there, the church that we go to, Cross Point Church is supportive. I'm like Jacob again. This reading today is about Jacob wrestling. And I was I'm gonna read that before we leave tonight, if that's good with everybody, because I think it's fitting for the day. But like I wrestle, I still to this day, I wrestled with God, and I still to this day wrestle with God. Like, really, this is my calling. And he's like, yeah, it really is. What I'm saying? So, and the more I run from it, the more I'm discontent, and the more I'm feeling disconnected and all that stuff. I mean, so I don't know. I tried to do something else in life or not have this to be my life, but it is, and that's what he's gave me to work with. So
Well, like you were saying, especially around the holidays, it gets really tough, and for some people, the holidays just aren't a good time. Really, honestly and truly, some it brings bad memories. For a lot of individuals who then turn to all these other things to try and bridge the gap and fill the hole about what they're missing and what's going on in their personal lives. And it's another thing, like you said, about how this society is just, I want it now, I want it now, I want it now, but we've never been connected as far as a people. There's over 7 billion people on this planet. We can pretty much get in touch with every single one of them, and that kind of information and just information overload doesn't help the grand society either. The news all the time, just everything that pertains to the internet and just society, what they push, their standards of things, and the internet, how you can literally reach, like I said, 7 billion people. You could reach probably every single one of them if you wanted to. So that kind of, we're not built genetically, we're not built for that kind of thing. We're not built to be in a 7 billion people tribe. We're meant to be in small knit groups, and then whenever we get out of that, we get overstimulated, we get hypersensitive, and just there's so many things that happen. Whenever you really just look at the grand scheme of things, like, oh, this is what's going on, this is what's going on, this is what's going on, this is what's going on. Everybody in the world's on an information overload, and for anything to shut up that 15-30 seconds of information overload, I think a lot of individuals will take. And yeah, that's the Battaglia theory of the day, man. That we're too far connected.
we're either too connected or not enough connected. You know what I mean? That connection and that availability, a lot of times, push people away too. Completely to isolation because of the overload. That's my theory.
Oh no, for sure, and I like how before the podcast, all four of us were just talking. By the way, speaking of, it's been three of us for a while. We're 22 minutes in, so it's a perfect time to bring in guest number 4 of this podcast. You know him as the first guest that ever came on the Battaglia Theory. He helps me through Painter's Dream Productions and through Another Blessing Window Washing. Through helping me get this podcast up off the ground and just keep it trucking and going every week, as far as being the producer of it, helping me see it through, how it's streamed, what's going on between the three of us right now. He's controlling who he's muting, which camera he's getting rid of, all this, man.
I'm the master. Hey, Jacob, I'm the mastermind. People don't know it, right? But then to run this thing, takes brains, but it also takes personality. And there's no doubt in my mind. And look at my head, because that light, I can make my head disappear. It's because I want to have that fancy background. Hold on, let's get.
I was going to say, but the Christmas background is key.
Well, you got to have a with this
camera.
Hey, I'm proud. Hey, brother, I'm proud of you, man. You have worked hard. It's not easy. People don't realize what it takes, but you have done it, and you're on your 4th show. And the good news is there's going to be a 5, there's going to be a 6, there's going to be a 7, there's going to be
guys.
It is
exactly.
Who else is going to be involved, and who's going to get on the Battaglia train? That's
we're not stopping, guys, and we are only going up from here. I believe that here soon, we're gonna have better microphones, better just everything. Everything's gonna happen in the way it needs to for us to have a better podcast for the people, because there's people that I look at the numbers. I'm constantly looking at the numbers, because as a host of a podcast, you kind of got to see who's watching you, and I just see it. We're growing.
It takes time. Just like sobriety, just like dealing with life takes time. The greatest part about this show tonight was all about the reality of restoration. We cannot forget that God is all about restoring the things that need to be restored, and that includes his people.
Amen.
So first of all, congratulations as the number 4 show. But I also want to bring up, and this is not about me, I'm just telling you, this is about
dude,
you,
no.
This is about you. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
This is about Jacob Battaglia and all that he's been through. And if people don't realize what it's like, not only just to be an adult, but to be an adult with children, with twins, losing all that you've been through, bro, it's not easy. But all of us have gone through a lot of things. And so what I wanted to do, the whole purpose of your Christmas gift, was to show you that with the Lord, anything is possible.
Amen.
And $65. Okay. I mean, that's just a fact. So let me do this, William. We're going to be right back, brother. Hold on one second. Dami, don't go anywhere. Hold on one second.
Oh, yeah, guys. We're going to introduce
and we have a little surprise for you.
This is, yeah. Y'all watch this and get ready for it. It's going to be wicked, man.
Hey,
I got it.
Hey, why don't you tell them what it is, and then I'll hit play after you do.
All right, cool. That sounds like a plan. Okay, guys. So about 2-3 days ago, I get a text message from my uncle, just the same uncle who's helping me out with this podcast and everything. And it says this cameo. So I was like, what the heck? So I didn't know what it was. So I clicked it. And sure enough, there's this individual, and his name is Mike Mangini. And for those who don't know him, dude, he is the drummer for Dream Theater, and he's won the world's fastest drummer award by the people who do all of those, auditions and competitions, things like that.
The Guinness Book of World Records.
He's one of them. The Guinness Book of World Records is one of them. One of those people who helped did it. Who helped do
it. Hey, he's got the fastest drum roll in the world.
It's so crazy, and he's just and his kit is insane. It's gigantic. But anyways, so without further ado, I would like to introduce everybody to Mike Mangini. I'm going to shut up and let this play. Hit it, Uncle P.
Hi, Jacob. Merry Christmas. This cameo's from Uncle P, and I've waited a few days actually to do it because I was like way too sniffly, and so at least I can speak now and I don't sound like I have 3 rolls of toilet paper up each nostril or something. Anyway, it is a Christmas cameo, and with Christmas you think about gifts. It's just associated with the holiday, but the greatest gift here is how much Uncle P loves you, and it doesn't get better than that. So I want to offer a couple of things that are associated with what he said, and with that kind of gift, sort of sending you a box of pencils or something. So he let me know you're a drummer, and that you lost your dad. He's been around with you, for you. And the interesting thing is with the struggles in life and stuff, I'm going to relate to you here on a couple of things. First of all, the drumming. You would think a guy like me can play the drums all the time or all day. It's the least thing that I actually do. I mean, like very little. As far as hours in every week, it's actually very little, because I've had to diversify. I have so many other jobs and tasks and responsibilities and things, all that carry massive struggles to them. So that when I make myself sit down, and when I can sit down, I'm really into it. And it brings a lot of joy. And I realize, and the great thing about it is you're wiring your brain. You're developing the whole you. It's your emotion. It's your soul. It's your physical part. I mean, it's everything. It's so healthy to do it. So we try to do it as much as we can. But if you can't get there all the time, or you're not maybe playing enough as much as you want to, same for me. Believe it or not, it's It's just how it is. And, as far as like, and you mentioned, you have to get through struggles and stuff like that. That means that, drumming, just getting from point A to B, you learn a lot from that. But with dealing with everything else, it's like you gotta start walking and focus on the walk. Just get going on stuff, getting through obstacles. So clearly you must have been doing that, and your way of maybe relating to my little metaphor here of walking. But point being is, if you're at a standstill, it's the worst thing ever, because then you focus on the standstill and it's way harder to get going. And then everything starts to be doom and gloom. Oh my gosh, I just can't. And you just get into that zone. It's a funk, instead of, all right, one step. And before you know it, you're down the road a little bit. So let me share something with you about how I get through that. And because I'm in my office layer here in Studio Control Center, but I have tasks up on the wall there and modules in my life. The amount of work it takes to get through all that stuff is literally unbelievable. The struggles that I face with every one of those, and stuff that I like. How am I going to do this? Or how am I going to deal with that? Or how am I going to fix that? Or who's going to help me with this? If I don't write it down, I have no hope. Zero. Forget about it. So I write everything down. I make tons of lists. And it just feels, it's like walking. You start crossing off stuff one at a time. And then you realize the stuff, the tasks that are too much of a burden, or they require help. And you kind of, okay, well, you put them in their little area, and before you know it, you're walking from here to there. So I'm sure you can relate to that aspect of getting through things in the way that you clearly have done in some way, shape, or form with some stuff. And you're only 25. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't really learn about this until way later. So that's the big gift here. It's like, look at this. Check out how to deal with stuff, because I wish that I was told this. Would have made a lot of decisions a lot easier. You just get a bird's eye view of it, that view from above. You write the stuff down, it helps you get through. So hopefully between that advice and all the support from Uncle P, you're just going to keep rolling and going this way. And, it's the joy of the ride, too. Even if we're both drumming and something's not working out, like, come on. You figure it out. There are people to go to. There's information. There's ways to get through it. You just got to plan it out, write it out, cross off one thing at a time, and keep it rolling. So Merry Christmas, Jacob. Have a good one.
I'm going to plug today.
Hey, Jacob, where'd you go?
I'm right here. Sorry.
Turn your camera on, boss. There you go.
My bad. My fault.
Anyway, Merry Christmas. I love you.
Heck yeah.
Dude, for real, man. He's one of my favorite drummers, and how he just went into detail on everything he went into was pretty cool, man. It was a great Christmas present. And for real, everything that Perry does, man, I just hope other people do too, man, because he's investing in my dream, and it's not, I'm not trying to do this for myself, because I truly do want to change the world we're in, because how me and you were talking about before the podcast about the whole, the government shouldn't be able to this, that, the third, whatever.
Jacob, my favorite is when I see on Facebook about the power people saying, hey, there's going to be brownouts tonight. You're going to have 20 minutes of no power. And you want me to buy an electric car? Are you out of your mind?
Exactly. My bill is paid.
Hey, I think I'm going Amish, Jacob. I'm getting me a horse. I got me an Amish wife. Hey, I got 10 daughters. So it kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
You're totally down for a fully self-sufficient, off-the-grid type deal, man.
Dude, no, for real. Hey, I don't know if we can pull up this comment that Mom said, but Battle of the Beards, Dom ain't got one.
I
But
just took mine off.
yeah, he did too. But Bean, yeah, Mom sent me that the other day. She's like, Battle of the Beards, and we gotta, yeah, because your beard, my beard,
I
Perry's
see you
beard,
touch yours all the time. You touch yours, it makes me touch mine.
I know, it's great. No, but for real, man. But for real, that's really why I wanted to start this podcast, was solely and truly just to change people's views on everything, because there's just so much negativity around that's just going around for all of us, man. And I can't physically, I can't deal with it anymore. So I know other people can't either. That is why I started this podcast, was to inspire people, everybody. And for you to inspire people, especially when you're not, rich and famous, is you got to start doing it within your circles. So within Sparta, Tennessee right now, where we're at, Sparta and Smithville, since we're in between the two, so there's a bunch of people from both counties listening to it. But if you want to spark change, and you want to make people really look at their lives and say, this is what's wrong with it, this is what I need to do to change it, you have to be that person to step up and say, enough is enough. That's going towards whoever that is, whether that be the government, whether that be laws, whether that be whatever it is, people have to stand up and say, enough is enough. Change is needed in our country.
Yes.
We can't keep living by this full-blown right, full-blown left. It's the same wings on the same bird. It's not going to change anything as long as we're divided and not
Jacob,
united. Yes, sir.
Hey, I think a wise man once wrote, neither male or female, neither Jew or Gentile, we're all one in Christ Jesus.
Yeah.
Exactly, man. And that's what, and like I've told my listeners before, I'm not the person that believes in that white Jesus that, that wants to judge you for what you're doing.
That Chippendales dancer Jesus, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's not my cup of tea. I'm not into I'm not into, like I said, that white Jesus standard. The people that are going to use God or Jesus as a weapon, whether that's as your persona, as yourself, as what you do in this world. Nothing like that. That is not my intention.
A soapbox. People use that as a soapbox to stand on, to overtower others.
Exactly. Yeah. The same people that are sitting here screaming, oh, I want this wall, build this wall. We do need some sort of, I'm not saying you're getting into that, saying we don't need some sort of border control. We do. But as far as, I don't want any foreigners in my land whatsoever. Anybody
we're all
look
immigrants.
Like me,
exactly. We're all immigrants.
Yeah, everyone of us.
That's what I'm saying. Because when you think about it, none of us are here from us being born here. Exactly. We're all immigrants. It's so hypocritical. And I dropped myself. My bad. But no, for real. Like, it's just, I'm not that type of person that uses, like I said, my religion and what I stand for as a weapon, like so many people around me do. So I don't want people who are against Christianity because of the mainstream Christianity, that are sitting here and saying, oh, I won't be a Christian, or I won't listen to a person who's a Christian because this is how that person is. I'm not that type of person. No matter who, what, when, where, why you are, it does not matter. It is not my place. It is not my place to judge. I was just teaching my child that the other day. I was like, he was sitting here talking about how a couple of kids in his class were getting in trouble. And I was like, are you getting in trouble? He's like, well, yeah. I was like, well, why didn't you tell me that? Why did you have to bring up your friends getting in trouble? It does not matter. It does not matter what your friends do, because guess what? You don't live your friend's life.
Uh-huh.
You're Gideon Hood. You're Dominic Battaglia, you're Perry Hartman, you're Jacob Battaglia, you're William Bean, you're whoever you are, and you have to live your life based on you, bro. You can't be sitting here worried about what everybody else is doing. All you can do is be there for one another and help one another when you can, and come up with some sort of middle ground to make society better as a whole. Because the middle ground,
your sins are worse than mine. Don't forget that.
Exactly. The middle ground is what we need. We don't need
that's where we live. That's where we live.
That are here and here. Like, we don't need people who are extremists on either side. We need the people who are in the middle, because the middle is the people where most people fly. I don't like this, but I don't like this. I like this, but I'm not too sure of this. I like this and a little bit of this. Most people are moderate, because that's just how it is. The bell curve. I could sit here and go into a whole bunch of different theories about a whole different 100% things, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here to just say that we are who we are, and we need to start looking at other people as equals, man, regardless what that is, dude, whether we believe the same God or not. Essentially, I'm not gonna hate you regardless. There's nothing that you can do to make me fully hate someone. It's just not in my blood. And that's what a lot of people need to start doing. A lot of people need to start minding their own business and living their own lives. And when they see somebody who needs help, help them.
But it's so much more fun trying to run your life, Jacob, than it is to worry about mine. It's a power trip, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, that's exactly what it is.
I see that so much. And what I do in my job and field and stuff,
especially your line of work, yes,
I see that.
Dude,
more than anything is people. They take the focus off themselves. I make myself a better person by doing the things that I do, and every relationship around me improves. It just does, and it just does. I work on me, get a better me, and everything around me becomes better as well.
That's like I said, it starts local, man. It starts with, all right, so I'm myself. How can I change where I'm at? Because I got 3 children, dude. I got 3 children that I'm sitting here wondering what their future is going to be. They're not old enough to make the decisions that will turn the cogs to make the machine of the eventual whatever government is there by the time that they're old enough to vote and do their thing and be functioning members of society. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm making the decisions that I need to make. That I sit here and say, what is the best life for my children and the people around my children, And so that's what is so important. And that's what many of us forget, that we just don't do it. We've got to look towards tomorrow. There's so many people stuck in the past and revel what they did or didn't do in this life, when all you have is tomorrow. All anybody has is tomorrow,
Actually, all we have is right now.
Right now, not even tomorrow. Yeah. Really, truly, tomorrow isn't guaranteed. Yeah. We have right now. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
What am I doing right now? I try to say that all the time. What am I doing right now? And if there is a tomorrow, how is that affecting my tomorrow? Something that I share with people all the time when they're in that, or I hear that or whatever, is like, my front windshield is this big for a reason. My rearview mirrors are this big for a reason.
Exactly.
If I keep my eyes in that rearview mirror, what's going to happen? Crash.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like I said, there's just too many people that are worried about what other people are doing in their lives. Nobody minds their own business, man. And once people start minding their own business and seeing that like Perry said, it's so much more fun and entertaining to meddle and fix other people's lives than look at my own life. It's so much easier to look and see, oh, this is what's wrong with that person, instead of looking inward. It's so much easier looking outward than inward.
Do you know why?
Because why?
Because we're wired that way.
Exactly.
He says, love me and love my people. He doesn't say now, but it's funny. He knows we're selfish and says, love other people like you love yourself. Hello.
And if we really did that, if we really did love other people like we loved ourselves, there would probably be a lot more kindness in this world, because everybody's so hell-bent and hell-bound worrying about, oh, this person's doing this and I'm doing this. But instead of me fixing what I'm doing, I'm going to just worry about what they're doing, because it's easier. It's so much easier to take other people's advice than following your own.
Well, when we take the emphasis off ourselves, when we're looking at other people, we take the emphasis off of ourselves. So therefore, whatever it is that we have, our baggage, our luggage, our garbage, or whatever, a lot of times, instead of internalizing and trying to work on that, we will pick what somebody else has to not see what our own stuff is to work on,
Yeah, for sure. And we're to a point now, like I said, as a society, we are just so, information is just 100% coming at us full speed all the time. It does not stop. Conspiracy theories, non-conspiracy theories, news from this end of the spectrum, of the political spectrum, that side of the political spectrum. It's just so much. It's so much 24/7 for everybody. Like, we've never been so connected yet so far driven apart.
Yeah. Connected,
that's the point. Exactly. But at the end of the day, that's the point. That is why politics and the news are put into existence, is to keep us divided, because they know if one day we all woke up, our eyes opened wide, and we realized that they were doing what they were doing, dude. All right, so I'm getting this book. It's called Chaos, and I think it's by either Tom or Tim O'Neill, and it's about Charles Manson and the MK Ultra studies. Okay, and how he was put in jail 5 or 6 different times for just petty stuff, and the government just kept letting him out. And his probation officer was a part of the Warren Commission, who was then a part of who was a friend of another scientist who was a part of MK Ultra. And MK Ultra was a government ran project by the CIA that dosed people unwillingly and without their knowledge with LSD, to see if we could mind control them, to see if we could change them, which goes with like the Manchurian Candidate and all that stuff. And then there was another project which was also ran by the CIA, where the government brought up hoe houses, and the prostitute would dose the people coming in there trying to get some nookie, and they didn't know, they didn't have none of that. And then they would take them, put them in the back of a van, bring them out into a lab, and test what was going on in their heads to see what they could do and what they could not do.
Well,
you have the Tuskegee experiment.
Like 70s, Jamie?
60s, 70s. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Then you got the Tuskegee experiments. You've got so much stuff, bro, that just corporate greed, bro. That's what it boils down to. There are these people who own these. I'm not sitting here saying we need to eat the rich, but there's no reason why there's the top 1% could fix every single problem within every single person in the whole entire world 15 times over, just within one country. And nobody seems to see that. And if we notice that, if we all, as a United States of America, as a true United States of America, you hear so many people talking about America, they just call it America. We've completely left the united part out of it because we're not. We're so far from united, it's not even funny, you know? And if we were united and we all noticed that this was the game that they were playing and we all stood up, their games that they're playing is on our backs. And if all of us as a one unified nation would stand up, it would all fall. If we did it in the whole world. But like I said, you got to start local.
It's not even just on our backs; it's with our wallets.
Exactly. That's what it is. Financially, physically.
Liquor in the front and poker in the back. I wonder where they got that theory from.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, dude, that's what I'm saying. It's just so ridiculous where we are. Like, there's no reason that I work a full-time job. My wife, she works a full-time job. We have 3 kids, There's no reason that we should not be able to buy our own house to house our kids. There's no reason. We've been tax-paying citizens. I've been a tax-paying citizen since I was 16 years old. There's people who have gone their whole lives. I can't sit here and say, oh, I know what it's like to be a 60-year-old person that's not drawing Social Security, because I haven't lived to see that. I can just speak from my experience. But I know that there are people who are well beyond the years of being able to work and is sitting here wondering how the heck they're going to make a living because our government done spent all the Social Security that they were supposed to get. You have the 2008, the home crash that crashed the markets for homes everywhere, ruined millions and millions of people's lives. Yet the people who own these banks got bonuses and they got rich off of this. Like it's so much greed that has gone to the souls and the spirits and have just made roots in people's hearts, man. Money has made roots in people's hearts to not use for good. And that's really what it's boiling down to, man. And until we can see that as a united nation, nothing's going to change. And we're all going to be broke as a joke and working for the man. But that's the Battaglia theory for today. I made a lot of people speechless, I'm sure.
Good. It's going to make them think. Matter of fact, I've been trying to get Maddie on here. She wants to comment. Well, get in here. Here's an opportunity right now that you can speak. The problem is she's a Hartman and can't keep her mouth shut.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, like I'm a Battaglia and can't keep my mouth shut, but that's what I was put on this planet to do, to see the injustices. And it's so much. And the thing that really frustrates me, the thing that I cannot wrap my head around is that it's not just me, that it's other people who look different than me. I'm talking skin tone wise too. Like there's people that have been looked at differently for all of their lives just based on the color of their skin. And I cannot physically, being a Jew, okay, being an Ashkenazi Jew, like I know some of the horrors that people's families have faced because of racism and anti-Semitism and just all around hate because you're this religion or this race, or because you look like this and you worship this God. There's no reason that we should put people into slavery because they look darker than us, or because we should, put them in concentration camps, throw them in gas chambers because they worship this God instead of this God, because they're brown headed and black and brown eyes. There's so much divisiveness that has been set into human history and human DNA that we could go back if we really tried to, and we just don't. And that's what's the most frustrating part about it all, because I don't understand the hatred of individuals who can't see past who people are, Yes, we have 3 white people in this chat right now, but at the end of the day, it does not matter. It physically does not matter. I naturally go for the people who are more disenfranchised in our world than the people who aren't, and whoever that looks like, that's who I naturally gravitate towards. I naturally gravitate towards the people who are more poor and broke because, I haven't been. The United States of America ain't looked too fondly on my family, Yeah, just because I'm white, I definitely didn't get the white privilege that everybody be talking about how I got, I'm just as broke as y'all. You feel me?
Me too.
And so for me to see that and use my white voice as a voice to use for good, I'll do it. No doubt about it. That's the whole reason I started this podcast, was because the disenfranchised have been not listened to for so long. So if I have to sit here and push and push and push and push and push to be the voice that needs to be heard, then so be it. I will be.
Jacob, I just wanted to first apologize right now for anything that Maddie Hartman might say that might offend anyone on this podcast.
What Maddie Hartman says does not remotely voice the opinion of the Battaglia theory and its counterparts.
That's the only reason I haven't gotten on, because I am controversial.
Well, aren't we all? No, it's good to be the controversial and anti-politics for any type of BS from each side of the spectrum is what needs to happen. Essentially. So welcome, my cousin Maddie, to the podcast.
Welcome.
I've been invited every show and haven't came.
Well, it's about time.
Glad you're here.
I guess. Yeah, for sure.
Maybe.
Yeah, people. I don't know.
Hey, I want to know what she knows about Charles Manson, meaning even
and the LSD in prison.
He's been born. He was in jail, and I think didn't he just die like a couple of years ago?
Yeah, is how it happened. But no, like I haven't gotten the book yet. I just heard a podcast of the author of the book. So that's how I got interested in it. And it's crazy. Like, his probation officer was a part of the Warren Commission that looked into the JFK assassination. Like, there's just so much. It's web upon web upon web upon web, which made me interested in this book, because I'm a conspiracy theorist, not a full-blown, we didn't go to the moon type conspiracy theorist, but I just know that our government does shady stuff and hides it for good reason, because if some people who don't have our intentions in mind, they could use for evil. I get it. But generally overall, there's just too much evil around. And Americans are too snobby and, nose to the sky, uptight to say that they're wallowing in the same crap that every other country wallows in, and says that
a Charles Manson movie, and I only know because the actor who plays him is in House of the Dragon from Game of Thrones. So I watched the movie. And it's like he was going into people's house, robbing people, killing people. Like, Charles Manson was psycho. But they did the LSD test too.
What the crazy
he
part
never
of it
killed
is,
anybody himself.
He never did it. That's what I'm saying.
He had people do it for him. He's a freaking
he gave his followers all these drugs to do it. And Charles Manson convinced all of his followers through drugs and talking to them to kill an American actress, one of the biggest American actresses in the world at that time, and then cut out her baby and all sorts of crazy stuff. Like that whole, yeah.
He only
I'm not.
We're talking about that LSD experiment, and I just watched a video yesterday of like the 10 most evil experiments they did on people, and it was the LSD experiment.
Well, you got like I said, the Manchurian Candidate is loosely based on the LSD experiments that MK Ultra did. But then you don't even have that. You have the Tuskegee experiment.
Even the COVID experiment was successful.
Exactly. And even then, and then you got the Tuskegee experiment, which was that the government shot AIDS into a bunch of African-American pilots who then had unprotected sex with all these girls, and these girls didn't get tested, and they ended up getting AIDS, and all just to test what AIDS would do, because they were trying to make a drug. They were trying to make something that could destroy their victim the quickest. Like, all of it points towards war. We are so hell-bent to kill people based on territory and where we're at. And because you're yellow skinned, you're black, you're white, you're, queer, you're not, whatever. It's all everybody sees one difference between another individual. They automatically want to go to war with them.
We're coming to America today. 4 million and counting.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we're just it's just so frustrating. It's so frustrating how not even Americans, the whole world does this, but then it was syphilis, not AIDS. Either way, it does not matter. Syphilis, AIDS, it's all tomato. That's what happened with the Tuskegee experiments. You can look it up in your own time. I continue to talk conspiracy theories with you all day, every day, but we are an hour into this podcast, and frankly, I'm hungry.
We've already sat down and had so many conversations about conspiracy theories.
There's so many.
The world
There's so many.
The world can't handle it.
Well, Perry, you can get back on because we are Bean. I just want to personally thank you for coming on this podcast, man.
I appreciate it.
Talking reckless with the boy.
One thing I'll say right quick, I remember
go ahead. Talk.
I seen you on stage not long ago. You could barely even talk. Now look, you're on camera in front of so many people, and I just want to say I'm proud of you and thanks for having me.
Oh, Bean, I appreciate it, man. We're still learning every day how to talk to my kind, wonderful viewers and listeners, and I appreciate the opportunity that I've been able to have. Like I said, making this podcast.
And anytime, anytime
dude,
you'd like to have me back, holler at me.
I definitely would love to get you back on. Maddie, me, you, and Dom, we're going to have ourselves an episode 2 for sure, because family could definitely make an interesting podcast. This is the intro music to the Battaglia Theory, and it is rocking and bumping. And guys, I just want to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
From the Mac Daddy Battaglia. I hope y'all have a blessed week, and y'all remember that we got to be united, folks. We got to get together, and we got to see one. We are one love, one mind, one race, the human race. Guys, Merry Christmas. This is the Mac Daddy Battaglia signing off on the Battaglia Theory. Tune in next Friday at 6 o'clock. Thank you, Painters Reproductions, for sponsoring this podcast. Thanks for another blessing, window washing. And if you want to invest in this podcast and be a part of this podcast, you email me at thebattagliatheory@gmail.com or hit up the messenger on the Battaglia Theory Facebook page. We love you. We thank you. Mac Daddy Battaglia Dable signing